Welcome to Coffee with the Port St. Lucie Mayor. I'm Teresa Aronson from the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce. It is our pleasure, our honor to do this event. We're back at every second Friday of the month, and you'll find out why very shortly. There's a very special reason for that, and I'm excited to get to it. We are going to start the show, as we always do, with our sponsor. So excited. Look how close we are.
I know, right?
There we go. And now I can almost touch you, but not quite. Please welcome Malin Joseph from Mid-Florida Credit Union, our sponsor this year, our sponsor last year, and our sponsor before that. So thank you and welcome to the show, Malin.
Yes, well appreciated. Thank you for having us.
It's always nice to have you. I'm very appreciative of our partnership. It's been a great partnership. You've been a great partner to the city because we all now head over to the Mid-Florida Events Center.
Yes.
And I was with Linda McCarthy over there at the Mid-Florida Event Center, and she pointed out that it worked out perfectly because we are in Mid-Florida. And when you say that, people realize where it might be.
Yes, exactly.
I never thought of that, but how opportune.
Yes, very opportunity for Mid-Florida and for the community because we're all about the community.
We are.
We are a community-based credit union, so it only makes sense to continue to give back.
You guys do that very well, and because you're sort of still a nonprofit, as all credit unions are.
Yes.
But your small service area. Tell us about your service area.
Well, we service within the Florida area, anywhere from right now Naples to Ocala area, and now our further south would be Stuart, Florida. So we have our brand new branch there, and ongoing. Who knows what's to come?
Yes, but since you're so localized, you really concentrate on local partnerships, so we appreciate that very much.
Yes, we do. We do. Again, another way to get into the community because we're there to service our members.
Yeah.
So whatever avenue we can tackle to provide that service, that aid, Mid-Florida is willing to do that.
And how do you become a member?
As long as you live, worship, you go to work or you go to school within our footprints, you can be a member.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's simple.
As easy as that. No cost and as easy as that.
It's that simple. I mean, we'll make you a member and we're full service. So anything you can think of a traditional banking offering you, we offer it to you at Mid-Florida.
And being a nonprofit, it also means that you aren't paying dividends to shareholders. Your shareholders are?
Our members.
Yep.
So you get to tell us at the end, where do you want that profit to go? Whether it's higher interest on your liquid products, your savings, your CDs, or lower interest rate on your auto loans, mortgages, things like that.
And they send you out a ballot.
We do send you a ballot. Yes, you get to vote.
We do get to vote.
Yes.
And it's important because
it's very important. We even post it in our branches so our members can see on this date there is going to be a hearing. So you get to say, how you feel, where you'd like things to go.
Very good. Yeah. And it does often result in lower interest rates for many.
Yes. So, very good rates right now. So check us out. Check out our website, our branches here, whether you go to the Gatlin branch, St. Lucie West, or I manage the one on US 1 and Stewart. So you check us out and see what's going on there.
All right, now I'm going to switch topics. We're going to talk about the Haitian Chamber of Commerce for just a moment.
Yes.
You guys came up into this area out of South Florida, and you're working with them a great deal. You are the vice chair or vice president, right?
I'm the vice chair, yes, for the Haitian American Chamber of Commerce in Port St. Lucie.
Very nice. And we are doing something together, our chamber and your chamber, very soon. What is that? Tell us a little bit more about it.
We're doing the county grant for small business owners who would like to find out how they can get some funds for their business, whether it is to help out or to further develop, especially in the middle of the pandemic. So we'll be doing that on the 20th of this month. You come out and see us. It is on our website. You can check out an RSVP, so that way you can come and get the information. And a lot of it's already posted there. So all the forms and requirements is there for you.
Good.
It's very simple, and we don't want anyone to miss out on it.
No, we've been tapped by the county, the St. Lucie County Chamber, to try to help people through this process and get as many people as we can to take advantage of this opportunity. And so we were working with you to come out and do a workshop there. I'm excited about it. We've had really great success with the workshops. So it's thank you for allowing us to come in and do it with your group.
Absolutely. Again, community. We have to take care of our community.
We'll give out both websites one last time before we take a break. pick first Mid-Florida because I think they'd be angry if you didn't do them first.
Absolutely. Mid-Florida, just go to www.midflorida.com and you'll see all the essentials there. For our Haitian American Chamber, it's www.hackoff/treasurecoast.com, and then you can get all the information there too.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you for being with us.
Yes, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
And we are going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with our for a very special guest that's there. She's coming on the show for the very first time.
I'm excited.
I'm excited about it too. So stay with us, everybody.
Yes.
Welcome back to Coffee at the Port St. Lucie Mayor. I am Teresa Aronson once again, and it is my pleasure, my honor to introduce for the very first time on the show. So excited. I'm sure you all out there have known her for years. She has a long history of service to our community, and it is now expanded because she is serving as our interim mayor. Please welcome interim mayor Shannon Martin.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
Got a little applause there from our smattering of an audience, but it's still nice to see people, right?
Absolutely.
So this is the first time we've done the show together in this format, although you've been on council for how many years now?
Oh, I'm in my 11th year now.
Yeah. So you have a long history of service. We've known each other that whole time. But I'd like for everybody watching, everybody on Facebook and in our audience today to get to know you just a little bit. I think over the past 7 years 6 or 7 years, Greg and I were together, they got to know both of us. Mm-hmm. And I want to give everybody the opportunity to get to know you too.
Okay, thanks. So again, I'm Shannon Martin, the vice mayor. I've been serving since 2010. I was appointed by our former mayor in 2016 to be the vice mayor. And I love serving the city. I'm married. I have a husband of 20 years. It'll be our 20th wedding anniversary on July 28th, so I'm really excited about that. We have 2 beautiful children. Our son, Nicholas, graduated this year from Treasure Coast High, and he is going to IRSC. And my daughter is in her senior year and in dual enrollment, and she's looking to go to UCF next year. So it's
Very
really
good. A lot of people from our area go to UCF.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. How exciting. So as you've been serving this, and you've been vice mayor, I think, for at least a couple terms now too, right?
Since 2016.
Okay, yeah, so 7 years as vice mayor. So we've kind of looked back at when Greg was here. The last show we did together, he wouldn't admit it was going to be his last show, and I kind of knew it was going to be, so he wouldn't let me dive in too deep. But tell us a little bit about the city when you came on the council. And what you see as some big accomplishments over these past years.
So when I came on, it was a pretty rough time. We were in the midst of the Great Recession. There was a lot of turmoil going on, if you can remember back that far. And then as time went on, and then when Mayor Oravec got elected, him and I had a conversation about how we needed to work together to lead the city in a very positive and forward direction. And we started on that path at that time, and it's been full speed ahead ever since. We have Crosstown. We've completed Crosstown Parkway. Mm-hmm. We are in the midst of keeping our promise on Floresta, and that's underway now. If you remember back, and I think we'll probably get into it later, during that time of turmoil and things happening, we had to increase the millage rate by $1 mill, and we made a promise to make sure that we are going to lower it every single year, and we have done that every year for the past 5 years. And going into this year's budget, we'll be doing it again. And then the other issue that our residents had a big concern over, and rightfully so, was that we had a large debt. Mm-hmm. And I'm proud to say that we worked hard on that, and we've reduced our debt by 30%. So those are some really big things that we wanted to accomplish. And then the other accomplishment, which is really important, which is an ongoing accomplishment, really, and we build on it year to year, is our strategic plan. Mm-hmm. And it's very, very citizen-driven and stakeholder-driven, because everything we do here in Port St. Lucie, I'm sure you've heard Mayor Oravec talk about it, it revolves around our strategic plan, and we have such high public engagement with our citizens. We want to make sure our stakeholders are involved, because it's all about working together to build up our community and to make Port St. Lucie what we all want it to be. Mm-hmm. So I'm really proud of that, and I'm proud of our council. I can honestly say, and I know Mayor Oravec stated it, but it's so true. I have never worked with better people, Our council is amazing. We all share the same vision and goals together. We may not all agree at times on things, but we all know that we're all headed in one direction for the benefit of our citizens here in Port St. Lucie, and that's what's really so important.
And that's noticeable too to stakeholders and people in the community, because we've been here through some of the times when there was, maybe discord on the council, and we certainly don't see that, and we're very thankful. I also can attest, and as I'm sure many people in the audience can, that you guys definitely do go out to the stakeholder for their input. I don't know how many surveys for the city of Port St. Lucie I have had to fill out in my lifetime, but I have done it. And I can't even tell you for what subject matter. It's pretty much been everything. You alluded to the millage rate, and I know that we're getting into budget season. Most governments are October to September 30th, and so you're working on the budget now. You try to have a balanced budget, and but you have been able to make some progress in trying to reduce the millage rate. So where are we at with that?
So, like I said, for the 5 years, we reduced it, and so the goal is always to get it back down to that promise of we raised it 1 mil, we're going to get it back down to that level. And I'm really proud to say that this year, when we go into retreat next week and we have our budget discussions, the city manager has put forth a budget that further reduces the millage rate by 0.2711, which will finally get us back down to that 1 mil level. So I'm really proud of that, and we've worked really hard to make sure that that happens.
Yeah. So you had to increase it during the recession by 1 mil, and we are now back to that same millage rate pre-recession. But people get confused, and they think, well, then their taxes are going to be what they were back in 2007 and 8. And the reality is you pay taxes on the value of your home.
Absolutely. And a lot of people think that the city is responsible for assessing that value, but we're not. That's our wonderful property appraiser's job. The property appraiser's office sets the property values, and we set the millage rate. And so for this year, the median home price is $243,000. And so it's important to note that the city only has 2 line items on the tax bill that we're responsible for assessing the millage rate on. And so if you have a home, like I said, of $243,000, it's our median home price, you will see a decrease in your taxes of $32.57 this year. And what's even better is our county partners, they came out with their budget message, and it looks like they're going to have an almost 0.2 mil reduction.
Very nice.
That is really great because it helps all of us out.
It does, and with the increased value of homes, it is much needed relief because we anticipate, as you know, when you're homesteaded, they can still increase your value that you're taxed on by 3%. So this is going to help a great deal, keep us at least maybe close to steady on our property taxes. So I want to preface now, your trim notices are coming out in August. That comes from our property appraiser, Michelle Franklin. Do not think because these rates are anticipated to be decreased that your taxes are going to go down significantly. I think the best we can hope for is hold steady because our values are just going through the roof.
Yeah, but it's important also to know for those who are homesteaded that the max is 3% or CPI, whichever is lower, which is the Consumer Price Index. And the Consumer Price Index this year is only 1.4.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
Nice.
So it won't go above 1.4% increase for those who are homesteaded.
Good. I like that so financing and that sort of thing is sort of your lane. Each of our council people have lanes, and so I like that yours is really very fiscally responsible. So when we go into budget this year, what are some big things that we should be looking out for? Now, we know we've taken ownership of the land around the event center.
We
anticipate.
We will be, yes. And when we do that, we're going to go straight to our master planning process. That's been the discussion on council. Similarly to what we've done in Southern Grove, to make sure that we're planning it properly and targeting what's going to be needed for the future and what we can expect from an economic standpoint in the future. So we'll be doing that.
So that means basically you're looking for private partners.
Yes.
Again, you're not going to be building a civic center or downtown center for our citizens. You're looking for partners,
Absolutely.
as it should be.
Yes.
The government is not in the business of building
Correct.
private enterprise, which is what's needed over there.
Yes, we ended that practice a very long time ago.
Yes, as most governments should.
Yes.
So we're going to look for partners, sort of like we did in the jobs corridor in Southern Groves, but we're looking for we're not looking for warehouses and that sort of thing. More than likely, after we do our master planning and many charrettes or surveys.
We'll be going back out to our residents and to our stakeholders, and they'll be an integral part of the process, and we're going to make sure we follow that direction. We do that with everything we do. Even when developments want to come in from a planning and zoning standpoint, the first thing that we talk about when our planners come in and when the applicants come in is, okay, this is what you want to do. Go have that neighborhood meeting. Go talk to the residents that surround that area. Go talk to the stakeholders that surround that area and get their feedback about what you want to propose for development here in Port St. Lucie. Because we want everyone to be on the same page, and we want everyone to know what's going on.
Good. And at the Chamber, everybody knows from my years of doing the show with Greg that we are very much on board with trying to be a part of the process, and land rights and usage rights and all that kind of stuff, and zoning. It all comes into play. It's going to come into play over there at the Civic Center. And so we can't wait to see how it shakes out. I think that the jobs corridor has been great for us. We've got a lot of warehouse space going out there. We know that warehouse space is good for us. Getting all those big buildings on the tax rolls just helps us all out in the long run. So is there any big projects you can tell us about?
I can tell you that there are a few out there. I can't tell you who they are just
Okay.
yet, but very soon we'll be talking about that and be able to release that name. But it's just building more and more, and we're really grateful and thankful for it. That was another promise, and that's what it's about. It's about everything we talk about, everything we decide and discuss. We make sure that we are going to keep that promise. And so we promised that jobs corridor. And, I was just talking the other day about how, we got that land about 5 years ago now, and that's 1,200 acres out there in Southern Grove. And when that was master planned, we were looking at a 20-year planning horizon. And we're either sold or in contract right now, and with over 600 acres. So we're halfway done almost with
In 5 years.
Disposing of that property for the highest and best use for what we said that we're going to use it for. We said we're going to allow to come in for our targeted industries for economic development. So we're really on a great path out there, and I'm excited. And what's more important too is all the jobs that are coming in are above the median wage.
Yeah, that's the really important stuff.
Yes.
So we're happy to hear that. The median wage does need to go up. We have typically a lower income expectations here in St. Lucie County, and we're kind of inching our way up. But we also have a lower cost of living.
Right.
So it tends to even itself out. That's how the market works. That's how a free market works.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm surprised we have no questions on Facebook. This is an oddity. We still don't have any questions on Facebook. I wonder do we have any questions in the audience? Boy, your mayorship is like slam dunk easy.
So.
I know.
All right. If
Good.
I could mention a little bit more about our retreat and what we're going to be looking at.
Yeah, the retreat. Explain to us first what a retreat is, and then tell us when it is, who can come, and then what you guys are going to tackle.
So we have 2 retreats a year. The summer retreat is our biggest retreat. It's usually 3 days. And what we do is we get project updates all on the first day about what we're doing and how we're moving along. So for example, we'll be talking about our stormwater master plan and what that looks like going forward. We'll get updates on our sidewalk master plan, our repaving plan, any other projects that are in the works that need to be updated that the city manager and our staff has to either remind us about or talk about. And then on the second and third day, we really go heavily into the budget. We sit down, we are in a huge room at the community center. We are with all the department heads, all support staff, our city manager, city attorney, city clerk, everybody. And each department has an opportunity to go over their budget for the coming year. And we also talk about all the positions that the city manager has approved. When we're talking about a growing city, and being able to keep up the level of service that we want to provide for our citizens, Obviously, we're going to need more people because we're service related. You know, we're not like a company that makes gadgets and widgets for profit. We service our residents, so we want to make sure that we have the right level of employees. And so,
How does the retreat differ from a council meeting?
the retreat is where it's like a workshop, and we have a lot of debate and discussion.
Is it quasi-judicial or?
No, it's just,
Okay.
a debate and discussion over what's going on. It gives an opportunity for all the council members to ask in-depth questions, where the city council meetings are really for just straight city business, making decisions on each particular item that's on the agenda, whether it's a contract, whether it's a land planning matter, or planning and zoning matter. So they tend to go faster because we're just talking about, okay, here's what's on the agenda. We have the opportunity to meet once a week, all of us, a one-on-one with the city manager to go over questions. And so we just like to get to the business at the city council meetings. Whereas the retreat, we get to really get into the weeds and talk about everything.
Good.
Yeah.
Is it open to the public or no?
Open to the public. Every single meeting we have is open to the public, and we really welcome people to come and listen, because this is really your opportunity to get a really in-depth look about what we do every single year. So,
Good. What are some hot topics this year for the retreat?
hot topics. So we'll be talking about mobility fees this year.
Where have we not?
Yep, because that's a big thing that's come forward.
Yep.
That's probably the biggest topic I think we're going to talk about, our stormwater master plan and what that looks like, because we have over $100 million worth of projects because our city is growing, and we have some outdated infrastructure that needs to be replaced. And we all know that when you're talking about infrastructure, that cost is quite significant. And to someone who isn't really familiar, when you look at the numbers and how much things cost, the numbers can be staggering and surprising. But we like to talk about that because it really shows that we get to give the public the ability to understand in a much broader way about what these
Right.
projects look like and how much things really cost. Water quality, always something that's really important that we talk about. And also our septic to sewer conversion, we're still in the midst of that process and looking at ways that we can mitigate the impacts and the cost to our residents there.
Yeah, we still have some on the river even that aren't converted, and I'm sure that's going to be a priority going forward.
Absolutely. We have about 17,000 change still septic systems out there, and so we want to move that process along as much as we can to try to get those converted.
In a city our size, though, that's huge headway.
It is.
I mean, what's our population these days?
Oh, we're over 200,000. We're probably over 206,000 at this point. I looked at the numbers from 2019 to 2020, and we had over 11,000 people move to Port St. Lucie just in 1 year alone. So it's going to keep continuing. And
Yeah.
we just have to make sure that we're managing it and we're managing our growth, and we're really doing it in a very smart and balanced way.
I agree with you. It's not just all, swing open the doors.
Right.
But disclaimer, there are lots that are zoned for houses,
Yes.
and you cannot stop it.
Yeah, and so that's really important topic to talk about, and it's something that's really, as I see, I follow social media quite heavily, want to see what our residents are talking about, want to know what's of interest to them, and you really get to see what bubbles up when multiple people are talking about it. So one really important thing is that a lot of people think that the lots that are in between homes, the remaining lots, because as we know, a lot of them have been developed, are like land preservation areas.
And that's so funny to me.
Yeah.
But I get it as a citizen
Yeah.
that's not involved in government.
Right.
And I try to tell people, if you move next door to a vacant lot that is the GDC standard size,
Yep.
please know that that is zoned to be a house.
Right. So, like I said, it's property rights. There's a 1/4 acre lot in between your house and the next house, and that property owner has a right to develop a single family home on that lot. And yes, we have our wonderful, amazing gopher tortoises, but we do have a requirement that if there are burrows, that those gopher tortoise burrows be relocated, and the builder and the contractor has to make sure that they do that. And if there's ever a question with regard to what we're doing there, you can contact our building department and/or more importantly, Florida Wildlife Commission, because they're the ones that are in charge of that and making sure that if there's any question at all, you can call their hotline number that's on their website, and they will come out and they will address the situation and make sure that that's done properly.
Very good. We all love turtles.
Absolutely.
Now, I think we have a question from the audience, and then we'll try to tackle this question on the screen. Did our audience member want to come up? The one on the screen's a little vague for me. I don't know, like, do you go to dinner with them, or I'm not sure. The question is, how's the relationship between the builders and Riverland area and the city? Like, I don't know. I feel like they're trying to lead somewhere. Maybe we can get a little more information on that. But if we have a question from an audience member, come on up to the mic. I'm confident this is not going to be a zinger.
I would never do that.
It's okay.
Good morning. I wanted to make sure that the people watching at home and in the audience understand what this election process is going to be in order to elect a new mayor and have a new person in District 3. So if you guys, can you guys walk through that process so we understand it?
So that is something that we won't be tackling on this show because this is a government show. I can
Think about the process, not
Yeah, the process. So generally, the process is when the mayor vacates a seat, your charter will indicate, the city's charter has indicated what the process is from there, and that charter is available online at cityofpsl.com. But I think it's okay for us to tell everybody that there will be a special election, and that is coming up in September. Make sure you're registered to vote. Head on over to Supervisor of Elections Gertrude Walker's site for the particulars on that and a full listing of all the candidates and how to make sure your vote gets counted. So that's a sticky wicket, and I think we'll avoid it as much as we possibly can, but do know there is a special election in September of this year to elect a permanent mayor and also a District 3 representative for the city of Port St. Lucie. All right. If Adam could, I don't know what he means, but if you want to answer that, I mean,
I'll
it's.
answer it how I think it's.
So the question is, how's the relationship between the builders in the Riverland area and the city? And Riverland is GL Homes, that is specific, but that area is many home builders in the Southern Grove area.
So we have a great relationship with our community partners, our builders in the community. I know that they meet with our staff and our cloud group many times throughout the month.
Sure.
They talk constantly. If there's questions, they talk to the building department. They talk to Jesus.
They were represented on development review.
Absolutely, they're represented there. So, and if there are any kinks that need to be worked out, they work really well together in working those things out.
Yeah, and Adam, if you have a specific question, feel free to email, and we'll see if we can't get an answer for you. We also have another question online. Are there any charges to remove turtles from a vacant land? Like, can I, Charissa, just walk out and grab a turtle and move it?
You have to do it by the guidelines set forth by Florida Wildlife Commission, and if there are any charges, those are borne by the developer or the builder to remove those.
Yeah. So, and then the city you don't have jurisdiction over that.
No.
That's Fish and Wildlife.
Fish and Wildlife, yes.
That will actually assess the fines for that, which are quite hefty. So don't go around touching turtles.
Right.
That's my 2 cents there. Don't touch turtles. All right.
Unless they're in the road. Then you
Yeah,
can pick them
I
up
mean,
and
that
save
is
them.
a life safety measure.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay. Don't touch them by the head, though.
Right.
Or lose a finger. Good luck to you. All right. So a couple questions. They've been pretty good, though, so far. What else do you want to talk to us about?
Oh, boy. So a couple of projects. We're still working on our port district and looking to find a restaurateur. And I think we'll be seeing some action there in the fall. But we're moving full speed ahead with our playground out there, our Wow Factor Playground, Pioneer Park. I know we're working with our Historical Society on the historic homes and getting the first house renovated and rehabilitated so that it can be used by our Historical Society. Another important project that is going to start this summer, which is really important to me and that we've been working on for a long time, is finally, the widening of Port St. Lucie Boulevard South is going to start late
You and me
this summer.
both. You and I are both residents of that area
Yes.
of town, so you and I are super excited about that.
Absolutely. So it's a 4-phase project. The first 2 will be started. One will be starting Gatlin to Darwin.
Yep.
Will be starting first, and then Darwin to Alcantara will be next.
And what does it look like? So I don't really know. I haven't seen the plans.
So if you're familiar with complete streets, that's what the standard that is now. So you're going to have paths on both sides. You're going to have sidewalks on both sides. You're going to have beautiful median, landscape, and street trees on either side of the roadway. So
turning lanes?
there'll be turning lanes where they're needed, absolutely. It's just going to be
Is it going to be 2 lanes or 3 lanes or?
2 lanes.
2 lanes
Yes.
still?
2 lanes on each side.
Okay.
Yes.
But the median will really direct a lot of the traffic to make that a little bit
Absolutely.
easier.
And then after those 2 are done, then we're still in progress because it's a process. It is a long process. This process has been going on since I first got elected in 2010, about the beginning stages of getting this started. So, but after those 2 processes are done, we'll be moving right ahead into construction of the next 2 phases, which would be Alcantara to Parr, and then Parr to Becker Road. And you might say, hey, why for such a short stretch of roadway is it taking so long? And why are they broken up into 4 phases? Well, it all has to do with money and the funds available. And so we get our funding in partnership with DOT, and they have a schedule because they have to send funds all over the state and allocate funds all over the state for all the different projects that are needed. And so we get portions of that funding on a yearly basis, whether it be for design or right-of-way acquisition or construction. And so all those take time. And so we have to make sure that we have the funding available.
Plus, I think that when you traverse those streets like we do on a regular basis, you don't want them to do the full length at one time. That is going to be so ugly. You want them to do just small pockets, get that finished, and then move on.
Right, because we got to still, even though we're in that construction phase, we still need to be able to move traffic, and people need to be able to get where they need to go in the city.
For sure. All right, good stuff. A lot of good stuff today. Do we cover everything? Because I know I want to make sure it's your first show that you got to talk about everything that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, we're working on our beautification projects. One of the things that we started this year is making sure that each council member got an opportunity through our Keep Port St. Lucie Beautiful Neighborhood Services community at the request of our residents, because we have neighborhood meetings with our residents, and we're looking at passive parks and other ways that we can build on our quality of life. So we're looking at beautifying some of our stormwater areas, turning them into passive parks. Something that came out of the pandemic was the ability to people to realize, hey, I can go outside. I can go to my neighborhood park. I can go take a walk. And so that's really bubbled up to the surface of something that people are realizing again, you know, away from the computers and away from all the humdrumness of the fast pace of life, and say, hey, I can relax and I can do these things with my family. And so we're working on beautifying those areas. And also, our neighborhood parks are really important. And the other 2 things that are really important we're going to be looking at, which is more promise, that we are going to start working on, is a regional park in Torino and our regional park in Tradition. We do not have anywhere near the enough play space for the amount of people that we have now. It's growing and growing, and we need more soccer fields, we need more football fields. Now we have residents requesting lacrosse fields, different types of sports, handball courts, you know, pickleball. So we realize that we need more space, and so we're looking to make sure that we keep those promises as well and build more parks.
That's another passion of yours, I think.
It is.
Parks.
It really is. And trying to make sure that when we're doing it, like I said, we're getting all the input from our residents, but we're doing things different. We learned through our parks master planning process with Dr. Barth that when you're in an area with your family or when you're out enjoying the city, there's that power of 10 that comes into play. And that you really want to have and give that ability to have 10 things to do for people, because everyone likes to do different things.
Right.
Yeah. So
I remember that from one of our stakeholder meetings, the power of 10.
Yeah, and it really resonated, so.
And it's Park and Recreation Month this month.
Yep, we celebrate our Parks and Rec team. They do an amazing job for the amount of people that they have, because they're still behind, and they really work hard, very hard, to make sure that our parks are as beautiful as they are. And it's nice to recognize them for that.
A frequent viewer has a question, and we can dive into that one. This should be fun for your first show. I've done this talk with Greg many times on here, but his question is, will there be more artwork displayed throughout the city? We've talked about all the beautiful stuff on Becker Road. Yes. And in Stephanie's neighborhood, too, they put a roundabout on Bay Shore and Selvitz. So I think we're doing a lot more with art, right?
We are. This year, we approved our public art master plan. We have a master plan for everything. And what's great about it is it's not just a plan that sits. Every single master plan that we have, we make sure we implement, and that it's ongoing. And so, yes, we approved our public art master plan, and we do have more artwork coming. If you are on Becker Road in the Veranda Gardens area, you'll see the beautiful Spinnaker public art that is there, that is paid for by developers.
So you mentioned something that I think is important to reiterate. Those are being paid for by private developers. Yes. The art in the city of Port St. Lucie is called public art. It is a ordinance development. Commercial development contributes or can choose to build art on their own property that is accessible to the public. So that's where that funding comes from. And as we get more development, you're going to get more funds and have more of an ability to bring in more art to the city. So, but good question. Robert watches the show quite a bit. Yeah.
He's a good friend.
Good. Very good. I think if we don't have any other questions, are you good?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, just let the record reflect. 9:15. I mean, this is good for us. I'm sure staff is incredibly happy at this point. I do want to mention, we talked about the special election. There is one. We can say that on this show. The Chamber is partnering with the Florida Institute of Political Leadership to put on a class. It's a Zoom class, a virtual class, on what it entails to run for office. I think that we are doing that. I'm looking for the date. August 23rd through the 25th. It is virtual, 5:30 to 8:30. So if you've ever thought about running for office in the future, now's like a little bit late, but if you're thinking about it or just interested in how the process works, it's free, it's open to the public. Please sign up for that. I'm excited about it. I'm going to do it. I feel like I'm around this stuff all the time, but I know I'm going to learn a lot from that class of just what does it take, the fiscal responsibilities, all that kind of great stuff. So I'm excited about that. I think I don't have any other announcements.
Just one other thing. So every year we put forward our proposed budget in brief. It gives highlights of what our budget is going to look like, and what our staffing is going to look like, what the requests are by our city manager through his process that he goes forward with staff. So if anyone would like a copy of our budget in brief and take a look at it and see what's coming up, I'd be happy to give you a copy.
I love that because it really is just a quick, easy to read, easy to understand synopsis of changes financially that are coming through the city. So great stuff. All right, well, what a great, successful show for our first time.
Thanks so much.
I enjoyed it very much. Thank you to everybody watching on Facebook, and your staff here at the city is always fantastic. Mid-Florida Credit Union could not do so much in the city without them. Great partners. Head on over there if you live, work, worship, or educate yourself in this area. You are eligible to become a member of Mid-Florida Credit Union. Thank you to the audience for being with us today. And until next time, everybody, have a great day.